I'd now like to ask Mr. Charlie Gunningham, CEO of Business News, to the stage. Charlie's going to be moderating a panel discussion this morning. We had our first one last year. It was a great success and we learned so much from it. So today they're going to discuss the importance of the Innovator of the Year program to them and what the expansion of the program will deliver. So joining Charlie on stage will be Professor Lynn Beazeley, Mr. Andrew Outhwaite, who's the founder of Pollinators Incorporated, Ms. SUSANNAH Lancaster, the 2016 Growth Award winner and founder of INSTATRUCK, Ms. Jasmine Gall from Sacred Heart College and spokesperson for the PET TOPIA team, and Ms. TERINA Chan from Como Secondary College and spokesperson for the TUTOLOGY team. Please welcome everybody to the stage.
We've got a panel here of people who've been through the program, people who are involved in the program. And I'm just going to, you've just had them introduced, so I'm going to throw straight into it, just for a matter of time. Andrew, you're chair of Startup WA, you herald from Geraldton. Could you tell us about what's happening in the regions in terms of innovation?
Yeah, sure. There's some mention of BizSpace, startup space in Broome, and right down through to Albany. There's all sorts of new spaces and networks operating that, I guess, support a lot of early stage ventures and ideas, and not only sort of technical or technology or agricultural, but also a lot of creative industry stuff is happening in Albany, Bunbury, Broome, Port Hedland, Newman. But there's
so
also
there's SpaceCube came along in 2012,
yep.
First co-working space. We've got now accelerators in Perth, so a lot of people here are involved in those. Are these sort of things happening in the regions as well?
Yeah, probably the Midwest is probably the furthest along. So that City Hive opened in 2011 there. The first pre-accelerator program was also in 2011. I think Bunbury is sort of catching up as well. And in other regions, I think I'd say the ecosystem in those regions is not quite as mature, but there's a bit of a roadmap now and a good network across those regions. I think the big sort of legacy, I guess, is there's incredible industries and ventures sitting in the regions that are already highly innovative. So, I mean, if I think in Geraldton, there's places like the Abrolhos, Geraldton Fishermen's Co-op, like there's a $500 million industry exporting China, really, really high levels of innovation throughout their processes. And I think there's great opportunities to connect those sort of legacy industries and assets and our biodiversity assets with technology, but also to bridge that gap between, that sort of industrial innovation and then more and more of the sort of startup technological creative industries. So that's a lot of the stuff that's happening in the regions is trying to bridge those sorts of gaps.
And the WA Innovator of the Year award is sort of including more regional recognition. What are some of the barriers in the regions for innovation?
I think there's actually great advantages to being in the regions. Don't understate that. In terms of assets that you can work with, access to space, the ability to easily talk to politicians. But there are also significant barriers in terms of isolation, the depth of the talent pool. So you might have one great expert in your region, but there's just not the whole range or depth. Access to finance and investment. And I sort of take some of the points about how the number of impressions you could make. So Mark sort of described what opportunities are there. You might have the talent and be making the effort, but how many opportunities do you get? And I've seen certainly seen in the Midwest that there are people pitching that are really a bit shy about their ventures and not sure about things.
Yep.
Then I go to an event down in Perth or see someone pitch in Melbourne, I'm thinking, hang on, that guy in Geraldton was like, he's really batting way out of his league, just as good. But even in the local ecosystem, people weren't really sort of appreciating how radical what and how much potential there was. So I think, number one thing is just opportunity, and it's great to see this opportunity being presented.
Thanks for that. SUSANNAH, INSTATRUCK. Those of you who don't know about INSTATRUCK, I'm allowed to call it the Uber of trucking. You're probably not allowed to call it that. Quickly tell us, those who don't know about INSTATRUCK and the story behind it. You've actually come from a corporate background, a lawyer background, and how you got into startups. But also you won the growth category. So tell us in the last year, or 6 months, I think it was November, wasn't it? What's that led on to?
Thanks, Charlie. That's a lot of questions
Yeah.
in one.
And 30 seconds each, go.
Yep. So INSTATRUCK, we are a truck matching platform, and we started because we were trying to find owner-operator truck drivers more work for their trucks. But then we also discovered that there was a distinct lack of technology in the transportation area, and that it could be done so much better than what it's done. So we've managed to, with our system, reduce the time that you can get a truck to your door massively by hours, basically. So if you need a ute or a van to deliver something, we can get it there within 15 minutes with our network approach. And we've got, lots of big customers trying us out in Perth. So Perth is a great place to be testing this product. We have 3 massive retailers here who potentially could take it across Australia. We're doing lots of different things with lots of different trucks. So we've got the vans, utes, all the way up to the big trucks.
Right, but how does
on
a
our
corporate
network.
lawyer go into that?
Well, that's quite interesting. I was just sitting having a cup of tea with my mate and having a chat about his inability to get work for his trucks. So we were trying to find a solution around that. And at the time, we thought, well, Uber's been a real success, so surely we can apply something similar in the trucking space, which it turns out to be correct. That
Uber aren't going into trucks, so that's you've got that as yours, have you? That spot?
Oh, look, I don't know what Uber are doing. I can't really say, but there's a definite need for innovation in Australia around this area, and there is nothing at the moment that is sort of as innovative as what
And why did you decide to go for the WA Innovator of the Year award? Congratulations on your 40 under 40 award as well this year. Well done. Why go for the WA Innovator of the Year award, and what's happened since?
Yeah, so it's actually Nick, who is sitting in the room somewhere, Stamanto, who actually flicked me through an email because we'd just done a patent with him, and he suggested that I actually enter Innovator of the Year, but he didn't give me much time. I think I had about 2 days to get my application together. Coming from New South Wales and the legal corporate space, had never even heard of Innovator of the Year until I received that email, and I thought, oh, this looks like a good idea, I'll give that a go, and was completely surprised to be shortlisted and make it through the rounds. And in fact, I'd never even pitched INSTATRUCK before I stood up in front of the pitching panel for it, so that was quite interesting.
And since you've won, what's happened in the last 6 months?
Yeah, so since we've won, it's actually been incredible, because I think what Innovator of the Year does is it builds trust, and that trust is so important. And I talk about this a lot because when you've got a new innovation, the hardest part is bridging that gap when you're bringing it to a company and earning enough trust for them to go, okay, I want to sit in front of you, because there's, of course, so many innovations that come across people's tables. They have to do that assessment as to whether or not it's worthwhile talking to you. And I think that sort of accelerates that process a lot. So we've been able to talk to some really big companies that I think we would have really struggled opening the door with without Innovator of the Year, which has been fantastic.
So you're fundraising at the moment? What's the stage of INSTATRUCK? How many staff? What sort of size?
Yeah, so we are actually actively looking for fundraising. So if anyone in the room is out there, please come and see me afterwards. But we're looking, so at the request of our customers, we're looking to bring INSTATRUCK throughout Australia. And so the fundraising would go to bringing this product throughout Australia at the moment.
Great. Now I want to get on to this Just Start It, people. I'm also a fellow judge. Welcome here. We have Jasmine and TERINA. Jasmine from Petopia. You've already got the minister is interested in your product, who was talked into buying a dog by his kids. And he's confirmed that, he's nodding his head. Where did the idea from Petopia come along? And then how was the whole Just Start It journey? Because a lot of people here maybe don't know about the wonderful program that Lainey started about 3 years ago.
So Just Started is a 20-week high school program in which students can create their own tech startup, and they teach us how to take it to market. And so me and 4 of my friends from Sacred Heart, we were lucky enough to be a part of it, and we created our business Petopia. And so Petopia is an app where pet owners can find carers for their pets. And we specialise, we have a difference because you can find a specialised carer. So there are breed heroes, vet nurses, family carers, and all the like.
And what stage are you at? You're building your app, I think. So you spent the last sort of 6 months in last year during the Just Start It program. Mentors come into the school and you work with them and you develop the whole idea. You go up in front of that very frightening judges at the end of the year and pitch to it. But now you actually are building it for real, is that right?
Yes, so we were part of the program last year and we've been working on it since, building points of difference, validating, and now the app is currently being built. So we're very close to launching.
But you've already had some business already, yeah?
Yes, we've had some business already. We've been doing bookings manually and we've had a good success with that so far.
Bookings by email. So you're validating your product already with your customers and ready to build the actual app. And that'll be out soon, Minister. So you'll be waiting for that. Now, Tutology, TERINA Chan. It's a similar journey for you, I presume, at the Como Secondary School?
Yeah. So when Lainey and Steve came to us, they taught us the lean methodology of build, measure and learn. So from that, we were able to first figure out what problems we were experiencing. So in that case, we had a science test coming up and we did not understand anything. So we needed a little bit of help with that. So, and then we validated by sending out a lot of surveys. And then we also thought of this perspective of university students, how they have the stereotype of surviving on 2-minute noodles. So we wanted a easy way of them to use their knowledge that they're still learning as well and fresh out of high school to be able to help us as well. So peer-on-peer learning.
Great, fantastic. And so you're also at the stage of building your app. You're about to have it soon, is that right?
We're doing a slightly different process where we've pitched in front of City of Canning and we've managed to get funding from them.
Yep.
And then we're also looking at partnering up with universities. So we had a meeting with Curtin University recently, and that's still in progress as well. And
you've had a slight addition to your service because you're going to take students also through the whole journey up to university. So it's not just about tutoring, finding a tutor. There's quite a few apps that do that, but you've extended the idea, haven't you?
Yeah, we've decided that if we're trying to reach out to universities especially because we want to put university options in front of students at a younger age. Because when my group and we were going through the process of subject selection. So it's what do you want to do, what do you want to be in the future? And then it's we have to research what courses we needed to do and how we were going to get there. So by putting universities in front at an earlier stage, we're hoping that that transition will be easier for them than it was for us.
That's fantastic. How good is this, Lynn? Isn't this wonderful, having sort of startups now in schools? How good's that?
I love it. And perhaps I shouldn't say this, but do notice that both teams here are all young ladies, and women have been underrepresented in this sector. So good on you, and I think these programs are really important. And let me mention another one here, because I know it comes to Como's Secondary College, and that is Women in Technology WA, who are reaching out to school students, both young men and young women, to encourage them in science, technology, engineering and maths. And I know that innovation isn't entirely within those areas, it's much wider than that, but nevertheless the jobs of the future are going to be in this area. 40% of the jobs that exist today will not be present in 10 years' time, and 75% of the new jobs will involve science, technology, engineering and maths. And we have to make sure our young people are ready with an innovative frame of mind to do this, and to make sure that the 51.5% of the population who are women are equally represented in that. So good on you ladies, good on you Lainey, and good on you Women in Technology WA, who won a big federal grant to do this. So let's keep going.
Now, I've been down all the panel, but I have a quick question for you, Professor Beazeley. You've also, I think, put in a program, not everyone knows, putting microscopes in primary schools. Is that right?
Absolutely.
How many schools have you put them into? And
thank you so much. This is a program jointly with the Rotary clubs, particularly out of Freshwater Bay Rotary Club. We have provided individual microscopes for every student in years 5 and 6, although they are used right across the school from the kindergarten, we notice, through to year 6, to 600 primary schools in Western Australia to date. And we are sending microscopes. The whole program is catching on across Australia, but we're sending microscopes to Timor-Leste, to Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, India, Thailand, and to schools in Afghanistan. So isn't that, it's not me.
That deserves a round of applause, doesn't it, as well? Yeah, fantastic. All right.
Because we have to start young, and that's all part of it. And
So-
you see the world with new eyes through a microscope.
Fantastic, thank you. Just to wrap up the panel then, so the changes to the Innovator of the Year now in its 11th year, we have a youth award, so we have the students here from Just Started, so go out and spread the news about that. There's also more regional awards, so don't just leave it to Andrew with the regions, so spread the word about the regionals, getting involved more, and those people on the video, hello, welcome. And of course, Siobhan, as one of the winners, along with Mark and others, you're going to be out there spreading the love about the WA Innovator of the Year Award. So the nominations are open. It's free to open. I think there's a wonderful gala dinner that happens in November, which you'd remember, of course, happily. And thank you all very much for coming along today. And the final thing to mention is I think there's also the benefits, extra benefits mentioned for semi-finalists, which wasn't in before. So there have been some tweaks to the process now in its 11th year. And I know that Business News and other sponsors are delighted to be behind it. So get out there and innovate, as Professor Wood said, our patron. And thank you a lot for coming today. Back to you, Susanna.